Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Spirit Pod on Spirit Pond. I love that name, Spirit Pod, because it's like we took Spirit Pond, which is a sacred place, but it's a pod, it's a podcast. You're watching Spirit Pod on Spirit Pond, and thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for sharing some of your time and some of your energy and in this sacred space. My name is Matt Ganji. I'm a Reiki master, and I am the host and owner of Spirit Pond, and also the one who is currently undergoing allergies as springtime has just kicked in. So if you hear me making any sniffling or snorting or throat clearing or coughing sounds, I'm going to attempt to mute my microphone in time to catch all of that. But spring is in full swing here where I live, and everything is blooming again. Everything is turning green. The flowers are, emerging, and the pollinators, the bees, the hummingbirds are out. The weather is starting to get very beautiful and warm. But that also means that for those of us who are more sensitive to pollen, like myself, we find ourselves a little bit more sneezy as we appreciate the beauty, albeit through teary eyes, all around us as it blossoms out from the soil. And that is especially what I wanted to come on today and talk about. So it is springtime and things are blossoming, things are blooming. And what a perfect time, I thought, to come back and do a new podcast. Because, yeah, I know it's been a little while, 2025. I had a lot of different things going on. And I had, just a lot of like personal stuff going on, business related things. And especially doing this, excuse me, and hosting Spirit Pond and making these videos and sharing sacred space with all of you and trying to distill that and kind of distill my offerings and try to define the service that I offer to the collective. Um, Still very much finding my way, which is great. When I started doing this thing, Spirit Pond, when I started making videos on YouTube, by the way, I just want to give a shout out to Smart Man in the chat. Welcome. Doing great today. Thank you so much for being here with us today. When I started doing these videos on YouTube years ago now, I didn't have a vision, like an overall vision for where this would take me, right? As we start, some of these projects, we just do them because we feel called to do them. A friend of mine recommended that I start sharing Reiki healing with the world because I had undergone the Reiki initiations, attunements, and I was a Reiki master, but I didn't really have an outlet for that. Like I didn't have a practice or a studio or a place where I could share those gifts with the collective. Again, forgive me for my constant throat clearing. My allergies are just like woof, woof. They're like really active today. But as I was saying, I didn't really have an outlet for my Reiki, so I started filming these videos and I made a new social media accounts just to share that energy because I just didn't have anywhere else to share it at the time. And I was like, this is great. It feels good. And when I discovered that when I shared Reiki with people over a phone by making a video, the other people who were the recipients who would watch that video would feel the energy coming through. And I just want to take a moment to shout out Maria King. Thank you so much for being here. And Michael Davis, what is up? Thank you so much for joining us here today. Great to have you all here with me. Got a little bit of allergies today, so if you see me coughing or sputtering or clearing my throat, I appreciate your patience with me as spring is in full swing here. But when I got started here on Spirit Pond, it was what kept me going And I was unsure too because I was relatively new to Reiki, and I was skeptical at first too. I was like, Reiki through a phone screen, through a video, like how is that? But then I started, watching other people who are sharing Reiki in the virtual space, and I felt it too. I felt the energy. I felt the love, not love from a person, but that unconditional divine love that permeates all things, that which Reiki is. It's a love with no attachment. It's a love with with nothing expecting you to be any type of way, to show up in any kind of certain way. It's just a love for who you are. And it's a very deep, deep and beautiful love. And you could feel that when you watch these videos. Not all of them, mind you, but a lot of them when you so I sent some videos, and people can really feel this energy, and I was getting this feedback, and that kept me going. And I was like, that it feels good. It feels good to channel that energy, and it feels good to send that energy out. And I always set the intention that whoever needs this right now, may they receive it. May they receive it for their greatest and highest good. And that's the intention that I set every time I begin to channel Reiki. I didn't expect for me to be talking about history here, but it's just interesting to look back and see how far we've come, even in just a few short years, you know, because I know sometimes we get into this rut where we believe that nothing is ever going to get better for us or nothing's ever going to change. But honestly, your whole life can completely change in the space of a day, the space of a month. Like your life can go from whatever you know and are comfortable with to something completely unrecognizable. And when I say that, you might be like, "Ooh, that's a little scary because I don't know." Like that's the unknown. We're wired to be afraid of the unknown. But your life can completely transform into something unrecognizable in the most beautiful and uplifting and positive way, and you can't even expect it. You can't plan for it. You can't prepare it for that. And that's how the universe works. So when we do these things that we feel called to do, like when I just feel called to come on here and reignite the podcast and come on and just talk, and I'm just like, whoever's meant to hear this message or whoever's here to feel and share this energy, let it happen. Universe, let it happen. God, just put it out there. It's the same thing when we do these things we feel called to do, whether it be do that thing we're passionate about, if it's making music or art or working on our business or learning something new because we just feel passionate about learning something new, and something just lights us up and we want to learn about it. We want to become skilled at it. We want to give back to the world. When we follow those passions, even if we don't know where they lead, even if we can't plan, and our vision is just kind of like, oh man, I'm just doing this thing. I love it, but I'm not sure where it's going to take me. The universe, we leave ourselves open for the universe to surprise us in such a beautiful and profound way. And I was answering a text message. But that's the thing. Maria King, thank you so much for sending a gift membership to Ivito012. Thank you so much for your generosity. By the way, Michael said, I love your videos. It helps a lot. Very awesome. Makes me feel better. I really appreciate you saying that, Michael. That's really wonderful to hear, and I'm so grateful because indeed that is why I do what I do, and that is why I started doing what I do, which is sharing Reiki healing. Just being an open channel for this energy, because that is what we as Reiki masters and Reiki practitioners are. We aren't some type of wild sorcerer or chaotic magician who is manipulating unnatural and unseen forces to cast spells on the viewers, which some people think that's what Reiki is. Some people even think that Reiki is calling in some type of dark demonic forces or energies, and it's very evil and very bad. But that couldn't be further from the truth. As Reiki practitioners and as a Reiki master, we're not actually sending any energy from ourselves. Like, I'm not sending my personal energy, I'm not calling upon some unnatural force. I just let myself become an open channel to the unconditional love that is already flowing through all things. And it's that pure, unconditional, divine love that our Creator has for all of us. And it's truly a beautiful and magical thing when you just feel it flowing. And since it comes from our spiritual, our celestial home, which some of you may say, oh, that's heaven, or that's where our soul family is, that's where our loved ones are, that's where we share space between lifetimes and learn and grow if you believe in reincarnation. It's our spiritual home. And since that energy, that's Reiki, it comes from that place and it comes from our Creator, and it is indeed the love our Creator has for us, it has this very transformative and balancing effect in our bodies, in our souls, because it's like our souls remember this energy, that we remember this love on a cellular and atomic level, and it truly uplifts us. It helps us sort through, and that's really all it does. And that love alone is enough to help us release those old burdens and those old patterns that we're going to talk about here shortly. It just helps us release the pain and just transmute the suffering that we've been dealing with our whole lives, and it helps us really just let go and be who we want to be. It helps us express ourselves and open up our hearts to just be vulnerable with the world and just shine our light out into the world. And that's what Reiki allows us to do. And it's just that simple force of love. That's what love can do for you. Remember that old UPS commercial? What can brown do for you? It's like, what can love do for you? Everything. It can really do everything, because it's like in that space of love that Reiki is, boom, it's like everything gets transformed. Fear, despair, sorrow, shame, none of those things can survive in the light of that love that Reiki is. That's amazing. I see my beautiful darling sweetheart in the chat. Hello, honey. Thanks for coming in. I've got my morning coffee beverage here that I'm drinking. And yeah, so where was I going with all of that? Just talking about the love that Reiki is. Because you guys are saying in the chat how wonderful these things make you feel, and I'm just clarifying. Reiki masters, like, it's not me doing it, like I can, come on here and talk to you guys, but the healing that you guys are getting, or the great vibes, the love that you're feeling, that's something ancient that connects all of us. And the healing that you're doing is healing that is taking place within your own body. That's healing that you are undergoing within yourself, because this love that Reiki is holding you in this sacred space for that healing to occur. I'm trying to think of an example, but it's like sometimes in order to get better, right, you got to remove yourself, you got to put yourself into a different space. Like, let's say my allergies are really kicking my ass this morning, right? And if I want to immediately heal from my allergies, I have to create a space around me where I can allow the healing to take place, where I stop sneezing and sniffling, right? So I have an air purifier. I clean the air, we open some windows, and it's just like I get fresh air, and it's like I create that sacred space around me so my sinuses can finally take a sigh of relief and be like, ugh, I'm not irritated anymore. I can breathe and stop producing miles of mucus. It's the same way with Reiki. When you're trying to heal from a trauma, or you're trying to transmute the pain of a past so you can get through that loop and just break free from whatever it is that's been holding you back from manifesting the life that you deserve, whatever that might be, you have to allow yourself to be in a healing space for your body to finally, that natural healing process to kick in and start releasing the emotional gunk that you kind of keep trapped within you that represents that trauma, that's pain, you know. Just want to say welcome to Jen Brownlee. Thanks for being here. Jen says, I've been watching your wonderful videos for a few years. I have to say they're excellent. Love the videos so much. Thank you so much, Jen. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you being here with us today. Also, shout out to Linda Thetford, 3776. Appreciate you being here. Welcome. I am very happy to be here today. And like I said at the start of this show, I just decided to get back on the podcast because we're in a new season of spring. We're in a period of rebirth, and doing this podcast and sharing my perspective, any channeled messages, any little bits of wisdom, whatever is exciting me in any given day. I love to share that with all of you, and I thank you all for being here with me to hear that message and for us to share together. Also, greetings, ATS6600 from the Netherlands. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome. Thank you all for sharing this sacred space with me together. And today we're just talking about the season of rebirth, renewal, new life coming back to the world, the flowers blossoming, the bees and the hummingbirds and the insects pollinating. All of that new energy, that vibrancy, that green, so too within us. We've been planting our seeds. We've been watering our dreams and our manifestations. And in spring, that is when we really start moving towards our manifestations. And as the title of this live stream, and as I've been talking about, we have to be really willing to let go of everything that doesn't serve who we are becoming in the springtime. And everything that I was just speaking about, alchemizing and healing that pain, that trauma, we're not going to be able to manifest new life for ourselves by still entertaining and being in the same old energy and the old patterns of the past, that which kept us stuck. So it really requires of us a complete sweeping change to take place. Truthfully, a true sweeping change. And it can be scary, because when I started out talking today, this live stream here, we talked about what it'd be like to create a new life for ourselves and how fast our lives can change. If you've been around for a while, if you've been around on this rock for a while, you know how fast your life can change in the space of a day, in the space of a month. Your entire life can shift into something unrecognizable. And for many of us, that brings a tinge of fear, because us as human beings, we're wired to fear the unknown and the uncertainty. And that's totally natural, to fear the unknown and the uncertainty, because there could be danger lurking there. We don't know. It could be something bad or something scary. But through the unknown, across that threshold into the unknown, is the only place where we're going to meet and manifest our desires. Because there, in that void space of not knowing, it's like a blank canvas for the most beautiful and amazing and wondrous magical things to attract themselves into your life. But you have to get into the unknown. You have to be willing to live in a way that you've never lived before. You have to be willing to challenge your old beliefs and perceptions about yourself, about the world, about other people. You have to be willing to let go of that old identity that you've cultivated for yourself, which may have been built out of pain or struggle to survive, where you saw yourself as less than, or not valuable, or maybe not worthy of having the life you've always wanted. Even if you've had just some kind of doubt or disbelief somewhere buried deep within you, even though you may long for and dream about and hope and pray and wish for that kind of life, it's going to be very difficult for you to manifest that, because on some level, even if you're not consciously aware of it right now in this moment, if you believe that you're not worthy of that life, then you're not going to be able to attract it to you. That's when we say, oh, I feel blocked. I feel like something's blocking me. It's often we're blocking ourselves because on some level, deep down, because of something that happened to us, because of someone who told us that we weren't good enough. Maybe we learned it from a parent or some elder when we were young, that in order to have a beautiful life, we had to work hard. We had to suffer. We had to struggle in order to get there. Maybe we think we haven't suffered enough. Maybe we think we don't deserve things to come easy to us. Whatever belief that may be, becoming aware of it and listening to it is the first step to releasing it. And it does require work. It does require courage. Because maybe you've held on to that belief for so long that it's just become an intrinsic part of who you are, that you can't even imagine living your life without having that belief. What would it look like to be confident? What would it look like to wake up and know that you're worthy of everything around you, and know that your unique gifts that make you so special and unique on this planet is exactly what makes you deserving of having the life you've always wanted? What if the universe is a beautiful place and its generosity just shines on you every day, and you're so blessed with all this abundance and wealth that you have enough money to give back and make these wonderful changes in the world? Would you think that you're truly deserving of that? Or is there still some small part of you that thinks that, no, that's not for me, or I'm not worthy of that, or I don't deserve that? When we are manifesting, when I say out with the old, I truly mean that you can't just stuff that voice down. You can't just say and just kind of like zip it out of your thought stream, because it's lying there deep within you, and it's just releasing this little pulse, and it's just hitting your brain with this little tiny little thought that says, I'm not good enough, or it's not meant for me. No matter how badly you want that new life, there's that tiny little impulse somewhere deep within you. It's trapped, it's stuck, and it's just telling you that you're an imposter, that you're not good enough. And you can't defeat that voice by fighting it. You can't bury it or drown it out. The only way to truly work through that is to listen to that voice and hear what it has to tell you, that it's got something to teach you. And remember when I talked about what Reiki is, right? Reiki is that beautiful, unconditionally loving space. And that when we are held in that space, great transformation, great healing, great alchemy can occur. Someone said the volume of my voice was too quiet. Maybe I need to be closer to the microphone. I don't know. Is this better? I'm going to hold the microphone. Can everyone hear me okay? So that is what Reiki is. Reiki is that unconditional divine love that holds the space for us to do the healing work. So whatever it is, when you're trying to manifest, whatever little voice or whatever tiny little piece of you that throws up the resistance, that says that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy, you have to be willing to listen to that voice. You have to be willing to feel into that part of you that is telling you you're not good enough. You have to let it rise to the surface. You have to hold it in the gaze of your own loving awareness, that Reiki space. And through that gaze of your loving awareness, that fear, that tiny little voice, that little bit of trapped energy, that little stuck piece inside you will slowly melt away and dissolve like a chunk of ice. And it'll be released. And in its place will come confidence, greater love, gratitude, appreciation, and joy. Now, those of you who have been with me for a while, who've been watching these Reiki videos and experiencing the energy firsthand, that is that same transformative energy that transmutes everything, all of those fears, back into love. Everything melts back into love. That sounds very much like a greeting card or a Disney movie, but that's true. It's really true, honestly. So, that's what I mean when I say out with the old, in with the new. So, my homework that I'm giving for all of you listening and watching out there right now is to dream big. Start by dreaming big. What is your ideal life? Like, what is the most ideal life for you look like? Like, what would you love to be doing for a living, for a business? What truly lights you up and brings you so much joy? What are you passionate about? Where do you want to live? What style of life do you want to have? And get serious about creating that and building that vision in your mind. Sketch it out, draw it out, cut out pictures from magazines and put it on a board, write it down in affirmations in a journal. Get very, very clear on what it is you want from this life and from this world. Paint it out in your mind like you are the artist just painting your life as you want to envision it without holding back, as beautiful as you can make it. And then I want you to envision what it feels like to live that life, what it feels like to wake up in the morning and live that life. Whether you're waking up in a new house or a new job, with a new car, or wherever in the world that you want to live in that beautiful climate. Step outside in your mind and smell the flowers and breathe in the energy of that new life. And get clear on how it feels within you to live that new life. Try to define that feeling. For most of us, it feels like a mix of excitement and joy, but like grounded peace and stability. This big sigh of relief, this warmth, this gratitude, this appreciation. Get clear on how that feels. Because whenever you're feeling those emotions, energy in motion, you are tuning yourself to a frequency. You're tuning yourself to a resonant frequency that your ideal life lies on. Because out there in the quantum field, there are an infinite number of possibilities out there, all existing simultaneously. When you want to attract a specific outcome, when you're manifesting something, of course you have to get very specific on it, because when you're trying to find a radio station and tune your radio to it, you have to know it's like 106.9, right? FM. You have to go and you have to dial it in very specific. You got to get really specific about what you're manifesting too. That's why I tell you, envision it in as much detail as you can. Don't sweep and paint your canvas with broad strokes. Use the fine strokes and get really clear on what you want for your life. You know, when you're ordering a package, you don't say, "Oh, just send me whatever from the catalog. I'll be fine." No, you want a specific whatever pair of shoes, right? You don't want like whatever. You don't want them to send you a coat in summer. You got to get really specific on what you're manifesting. So get really specific on it. Tune yourself to that frequency by feeling into that life. You can think and dream about it all day, but the way we manifest is through feeling. It's through our emotions. It's through having our energy be in motion, and we tune our frequency to that ideal life by feeling that life. Feeling what it feels like to live that life and get truly excited about it in the now. It has to happen right now because the future doesn't exist yet. The past doesn't exist either. All we have is right now. And we can't wait for us to start feeling happy, and we can't wait to start feeling the way we want to feel in that ideal life in some indeterminate point in the future. That's not how it works. That's not how manifestation works. You have to start feeling it right now if you want to bring it to you. You know, that's like ordering a package and not giving them your address. It's like, well, how are they going to find you if you don't give them your address? Or worse, you give them an address and then you're just moving around all over the place. Well, I'm staying with this friend this week, and oh, over here I'm staying downtown, and well, next weekend I'll be staying uptown over on the east side. How are they going to get a package to you? How the hell are they going to ever find you if you're just all over the place? So you have to feel that initial frequency of your new life, but you have to hold that frequency too. And that is the part where most of us have trouble. Because we feel it initially, we're like, oh yeah, this feels good. To feel our new life, right? It feels so good. And then gradually we fall back into the same old patterns. We wake up, we're grumpy. We wake up, we're dissatisfied about our lives. We complain. We complain in traffic. We're still living the same old life. And then our patterns, we start living on repeat again. We fall back into the same old energy. And it's like we moved our address. Now our package can't find us because we're over here on the Upper East Side, instead of where we initially ordered the package from. Amazing coffee, albeit cold now. And that's the thing. We can't manifest a new life by living in old energy. So that's like the stages of manifestation. You have to order the package. You have to first visualize it as vividly as you can. See it in your mind. Then feel it as deeply as you can. That is your resonant frequency that you tune yourself to. But then every day, you have to at least carve out some time for yourself to go back into that frequency of your manifestation. Really sit with it and just visualize it and stay in that place. You have to come back to it, or that package is not going to be able to find you. Now, I'm going to be spitballing a little bit here, but I think it was like Jim Carrey who said that when he was relatively new to acting, I think he wanted to manifest his first $20,000 or something like that. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But he would what he told people is he would go up into the Hollywood Hills every day, and I think he wrote himself a check for $20,000, and he would look at that check and he would look down into the valley, and he would feel what it felt like to have that successful gig or whatever it was and to be making that money, and he felt into it every day, and that's how he manifested his first $20,000. Something like that. You can go look it up. But that's the process. And that is what I wanted to, main thing that I wanted to share today, because it's just been like, the message of that has just been with me for a while now, and it's just too good not to share. It's such a beautiful thing. And I also am inspired. I can't say that obviously I didn't come up with all this myself. It's a universal truth that's just common to our human condition. But I also have to shout out Dr. Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural. It's an amazing book. I highly recommend it. Also, the great Don Miguel Ruiz and his son, Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. Amazing books. The Four Agreements, Guide to Self-Mastery, The Mastery of Love. They've got some really beautiful books. And of course, Eckhart Tolle. They might just be my top three. It's hard to name. But The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. One of my most influential books that I could recommend. The Power of Now, all about the beauty of the present moment. I'm going to just go back and read, because you guys have been leaving such wonderful chat messages here. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here with me today. I just want to throw that out again. You guys are amazing. Mormabidi, thanks for being here, said, would you say energy work is sort of like in the workings of energy is the workings of imagination? Like, sort of, we need to be able to perceive the bizarre in order to perceive the universe. IDK, just spitballing. It's a very good question. I would say, just right off the cuff, that energy work, all sorts of energy work, which manifestation is indeed energy work, because we're using our energy to manifest. Yeah, it is the workings of our imagination, because as I've said before in different spaces, when we manifest, it's in part our intent, or what we intend to have happen, what we want to bring forth into reality, what we're calling into being, right? That becomes our intent. And our belief is what powers it. That we have this profound, unshakable inner knowing that this is irrefutably meant for us, that it can be no other way, that this is our destiny. Those are the two ingredients for manifestation. When you know that it's yours, I would even go beyond belief and say inner knowing, just knowing. When you just know something, when you just know something, you just feel it in your bones, like just so deeply. It's just like you just feel the truth of it in the very core of your essence, that it's meant to be, it's yours. That sort of inner knowing is what drives the most powerful manifestations. That's what one of the things Jesus said, like, if you believe it strongly enough, it will happen. Oh, thank you so much, sweetheart, for that $1.49 Canadian, for that super chat. Thank you so much. Mormabidi says, the Four Agreements is a hard concept for me to implement. I guess the ego is still strong in me, caring what people think and whatnot. It's dissolving slowly, though, just one day at a time. The Four Agreements will definitely challenge anyone's ego, because the one that you might be referring to is not taking anything personally. That's a tough one to grasp for a lot of us, because all of us come here with an ego, and that ego is always looking out for threats, because the ego is very aware of its impermanence, right? Our soul, our true nature, our divine eternal radiance that is the true us, that's undying. But the ego, which resides within our bodies and is tied to our earthly experience, is impermanent. The ego knows that its time here on earth is limited, so the ego attaches itself to these fancies of vanity and surface level beauty and, what society thinks is important and material things. And yeah, caring what other people think about us. If you get down to the bare bones of our experience here on earth and you come to realize and accept the truth that all of us, all of life here on earth is merely the universe experiencing itself through the unique and multifaceted lenses of all these different people and cultures, all these different orders of beings, big and small, tiny consciousness and great big advanced consciousness. It's all the universe just experiencing itself. It becomes easier not to take things so personally. And that's the thing, is like everyone has an ego, right? And everyone has suffered. That's one of the things we all agree to when we come here to earth, is that we're going to suffer at some point. We're going to go through pain. People are going to hurt us. Society is going to try to program us. We may have to unlearn things. And there's a lot of pain in the collective. We inflict that pain on one another because so many of us have not learned how to properly heal that. And so even through generations, we consider the cycle of, continue the cycle of hurt and grief, guilt and shame, and it just continues. So sometimes it gets to those of us in those generations where they become awake enough to release that charge, that density, so that they don't carry through that pain and that healing. But the important thing to remember here is that we all have egos. I know we don't say we are egos. We all have egos. And we all carry hurt. We all carry pain. And those of us who sometimes carry the most pain are the ones that go about hurting others. They don't know how to deal with it. We've all experienced that, right? And as we grow and as we expand our own awareness and consciousness, we have to really understand and reflect upon the truth that everyone's out there hurting each other because they are hurting. And that when someone hurts someone else, when it comes from that ego place, it has more to do with the person who is hurting and their own internal struggle that doesn't allow them to see clearly than it does about you, the one who they are hurting. And when you're able to understand that and just allow yourself to rest in that truth, it becomes easier to not take things personally. It still sucks when it happens to you, but it's easier not to take things personally. Even if someone is attacking you, you also have to remember that they can't possibly know you like you know you, like you know yourself. They only have a perception of you. Maybe that perception is a little bit warped. That perception isn't the truth of who you are. But their choice to attack you, or their reaction, is a fear-based, ego-based thing that doesn't have anything to do with who you are or how you express yourself to the world. Even people's opinions of you are formed by their own beliefs and conditioning and ideas. It still has nothing to do with who you are. Because coming back to that beginning thought is that we're all expressions of the divine and we're all connected. That no one of us is better than any one of us. No one is better than anybody else. No one is elevated above anyone else. Even those of us that are, or were or are ascended masters, let's say, like the Buddha Jesus, to use those two examples, they're not better than you because Jesus walked on water and performed miracles. One of the things he always said is, what I do, you may also do. He very much emphasized throughout his teachings that he wasn't better than anybody else. Because nobody's better than anybody else. Everybody's journey is their own. So, I thank you for the questions, by the way. And I just want to take a moment to shout out Brandy Stevens. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Oro Ron, thank you for being here. Someone whose name looks like it's Russian, I believe. I can't read Cyrillic, so my apologies. Tharamit from India, welcome. Aida, welcome. You're also a Lantern Fox member. Welcome. Oh, by the way, for everyone listening here today, if you guys are interested, and I do talk about this in all my videos, but I'm growing a very sacred spiritual community called the Lantern Fox Healing Temple. And if you are interested in checking that out, I'm currently offering a 7-day free trial into that community where weekly we have talks like this along with guided meditations and Reiki healing. I also have a guided meditation library there, as well as a private and sacred community for us to all share and inspire and motivate one another and grow together. I'm just going to put that link down there. No pressure, but if you'd like to check it out, the link is going to be right there in the chat. Yeah, that worked. Excellent. Just want to read a couple of chat messages. Welcome, Kimberly Morris. Thank you for being here. Aida says, it's not for today. I have my vision, dreams. I do all this for a long time. Still, I can't see results, and I don't understand why. I feel I did all the techniques, used your Reiki sessions, and still nothing. So I want to just gently come back to what I shared just a little while ago, that if you're manifesting something big and it's still not happening for you, oh my goodness, thank you so much, Bailey, for the $4.99 super chat. Much love. Says my manifestation itself is going to hurt like the Tower card. Could hidden fear stop it from coming? Thank you, Matt. Okay, let me talk about this really quick, and then Aida, I'll get back to your question. So obviously I don't know exactly what you're speaking of, what you're manifesting, but what I did express earlier when it comes to manifesting, if you do have any sort of hidden fear or any uncertainty within you that this is not meant for you, or that you're not deserving or not worthy of this, that can and will indeed block you from receiving what you desire. So, when you have a fear come up like that, if you're manifesting something big, remember I said you have to visualize it as clearly as you can in your mind. You have to feel all the emotions that come with receiving it. Remember we talked about that, feeling the excitement, feeling the joy, the gratitude, the appreciation. If there is something within you that is bringing up fear, or if there is a tiny little voice that's saying no, or that's not for me, or is expressing some uncertainty, the only way to move through that is to listen to that voice, to feel what it has to show you, and let it move through you. The same way Reiki holds the space for us to heal, so too must we hold that negative voice in the space of our loving awareness and feel it without judgment or attachment in order to let it go. But that's true. And Aida said the same thing, that you said that you've been manifesting for a while and you're not seeing results and you don't understand why. I encourage you to go through that process, to visualize the life that you want in as much detail as you can, to even go so far as to draw it out or cut out the pictures from a magazine and put it on a board so you can see it with your eyes. As detailed as you can make it, and then feel it. Feel it with your entire being, what it feels like to wake up and live that life. How excited you would be, how at peace, how joyful your heart would be, how light, how balanced, how grounded you would feel to live that life. And then notice, with all of your loving awareness, being very present, very still, notice any voice that comes up that says, no, that's not for me. Notice any type of fear that comes forward, any imposter syndrome, anything that says that's not for me. Have the courage to listen to that voice instead of stuffing that down or trying to block it out. I want you to actually listen to it. But don't attach any meaning to it, okay? Don't attach an identity or a belief. Don't try to judge that voice. Just feel it. That's all you have to do. And that does take courage. For some of us, it could be one of the hardest things that I ask you to do. But just feel it. And that may take practice. You may try to feel it. You may come up to a wall the first few times, and it may be so uncomfortable that you want to run from that feeling, and you stop for the day, and that's okay. But keep coming back. Allow yourself to feel it, because you have to move through it. That's the only way to release that energy. You're not going to release that energy by trying to stuff it down or silence it or judge it or fight fire with fire. The only way through it is by feeling your way through it. So that is the best advice I could give. If you're manifesting something and it still hasn't happened yet and you're getting frustrated, I understand you, believe me. I understand that frustration. It's a very human thing, because again, that comes from the ego mind. The ego mind, which I said, the ego is impermanent. So the ego wants to rush. The ego wants things to happen right now, because the ego knows that its time on earth is limited. The ego is tied to vanity and all this other stuff, right, of the earth. Our soul knows that we are eternal, that everything happens in divine timing. And our soul already knows what's meant for us. We, at our core, we know what is meant for us. And the truth is that we really need nothing outside of ourselves to be the best that we can be. That yes, we manifest things in our reality according to our will, our intent, and our belief, but in actuality, we need nothing outside of ourselves to be whole and complete. But the ego rushes to obtain things, feels like, oh, we're only going to be happy if we get this, or we're only going to feel the love if we get that. And that's all the ego stuff. So when you're starting to feel that frustration and that fear, just remember where that's coming from and just feel through that. But it's really wonderful to hear your feedback. Or Roran said, Matt, I've been feeling a lot of shame around building my dream while surrounding loved ones are living in patterns I've stepped out of. Any advice? I feel that too. It can be jarring when you're living with people who are existing in patterns that you've outgrown from. From my own personal experience, the best thing you can do sometimes are set healthy boundaries and send people love. But ultimately, when people, sometimes when they're living in lower patterns or old repeating patterns, where they believe the world is a certain way, they'll try to bring you into their worldview. They'll try to bring you and get them to agree with their beliefs. Just having the awareness, the loving awareness that we've been speaking about this entire time, that you can still engage with this person and send them love without feeding into their worldviews, might help you, but also maintaining a sacred space for yourself. I understand the feelings of shame around building your dreams, because sometimes, I mean, no matter where that shame comes from, whether it comes from feeling unworthy or undeserving, or if it's an imposter syndrome, like there's got to be somebody more qualified than me who deserves getting this. The main thing that I want you to remember is that if it is calling to you, then it is indeed your calling. And if it wasn't your calling, it wouldn't be calling out to you. And when you feel that shame, and when you feel that feeling of unworthiness, however it may manifest, I just encourage you to listen to that. And you talked about detachment, and I do think that is important, to detach yourself from your thoughts and to remind yourself when you meditate or when you do this inner work that your thoughts are ultimately not who you are. Your thoughts are a part of you, but they are not you. To be able to listen to your thoughts without forming any attachment to them, just letting them fly across your sky like clouds. It's a wonderful exercise, because then you can rest in that beautiful loving awareness that we've been talking about so fondly here in this chat. And in that loving awareness where you are simply being and not thinking or not struggling or not trying to fix or solve or do, when you allow yourself to simply rest in that loving awareness, you will find that a lot of these thought forms, these old beliefs and patterns will begin to dissolve. Because anything that is fear-based cannot survive in that loving awareness. That's definitely what I want to leave you with today. So this weekend, as you relax and enjoy your weekend, the homework that I want to give for all of you is to, well, for one, check out that link one more time. And if you resonate with the Lantern Fox Healing Temple, you can join up for a 7-day free trial and just check it out and see if it's for you. I do community calls like this in a very sacred spiritual container every Friday. So if you want to sign up around Friday for your free trial, come to one of the calls and just see if it's for you. I invite you to join. It's a beautiful space, and it is relatively new, so it's something that we're all building together, the Lantern Fox Healing Temple. And my homework for you is also this weekend to get clear on your vision for your ideal life. Visualize it as deeply as you can, and imagine it. Build it in your imagination brick by brick. Draw it out. Bring it forth into this physical world and draw it. Sketch it out. Even if you don't think you're a good artist, whatever, draw it. Write it out as affirmations. Describe it like you're telling a story about yourself, but use the I am words, like I am this. Speak it in the present tense. Write it out. Or cut the pictures out of a magazine and paste them onto a board. Whatever that is, get really clear about that vision and then sit with that and feel into that life as deeply as you can. Feel the joy, feel the excitement, feel the peace, feel the sacred security, the groundedness of just resting in balance with the life that you've always wanted. Feel that as deeply as you can and let that become your resonant frequency. And then if there are any tiny little voices that speak out in fear, I want you to have the courage to listen to those voices without attachment or expectation or trying to fix. Just listen to them. Feel into it. And let it be released. Out with the old, in with the new. Some of you said that link is not working. It should work. I can click on it right now and it takes me to the About page. So if it doesn't work, alternatively, you can go to school.com, which is the source of that link, and search for the Lantern Fox Healing Temple on there as well. So with that, I am off to prepare some lunch and enjoy this rainy day. It's a very rainy day here today. I love the rain. But yeah, I want to thank you, everyone who came out today to share this sacred space with us and just come and listen to this talk. If you ever want to come back to this talk, this will also be in the Spirit Pod episode list with many more episodes to come. Spirit Pod, the podcast. I'm so happy to be back doing this again and just talking with all of you. It truly is a wonderful journey that we're on. You know, it's wild. We only get to be here on Earth for a short span of time. You know, considering how old this place is. We're only here for just like a little smidgen, just a smidgen, you know, of time. So I'm grateful that, you know, we just get to be here, share these thoughts and ideas. Let's see a picture of your Air Force days. I don't have one readily available, but yeah, I'll share one soon. You know, if you want to see me with my hair extremely short and no beard. It's startling. But yeah, thank you all for being here. I'm sending you all so much love. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And yeah, until next time. Oh, the last thing I wanted to mention too is that YouTube now has a community feature. So on the channel here, there's a community tab. And if you guys are subscribed here, you guys can make posts in the community, introduce yourselves, talk in there. It's really cool. I didn't know about that, so I just looked that up yesterday. But yeah, enjoy your weekend, guys. Check out that link again, Lantern Fox Healing Temple, and I will see you all again really soon. Much love, and take care.